The following video is presented by Car Gurus. Search over 5 million listings to find the right car for you at cargurus.com. A special Car Gurus link from me, Ryan Holman, is in the description in and as the pinned comment for this video. Entering the 1983 NASCAR Cup Series season, Cale Yarborough had established himself as not just one of the series' top stars, but all-time legends. In a career that started in 1957, when he was 18 years old, Yarborough had won 75 races, including the Daytona 500 twice and the Southern 500 5 times. Furthermore, he had won a series championship 3 times, consecutively from 1976 to 1978. For 1983, Yarborough joined the Ranier-Lundy racing team. The new combination was poised to be a strong one. The team had debuted in 1967, but expanded in 1978, the year they won at Talladega with Lenny Pond. Through 1982, they won an additional 10 races. Amongst these wins were Daytona in 1980 with Buddy Baker. At the 1982 500, Yarborough drove for MC Anderson Racing. He started third after winning the first qualifying race and led for 5 laps in the main event, but finished a distant second to Bobby Allison. Meanwhile, driving for Ranier-Lundy was Benny Parsons, who qualified on the pole position. However, he failed to lead a lap in the race and was involved in a crash on lap 103 of 200 and finished 26th. Parsons would get replaced after 14 of 30 races by Baker. The 1983 Daytona 500 was the 25th running of the event. Yarborough was one of 7 former winners entered in it. For Ranier-Lundy, he would drive the number 28 Chevrolet Monte Carlo with Waddell Wilson serving as the crew chief, the same position he had held at the team when Baker won in 1980. The combination was amongst the favorites for the win. During qualifying, Yarborough's first lap was a new track record speed of 200.503 miles per hour. However, he was holding back for the lap. For the second one, he increased and Wilson realized the lap was on pace to beat 204 miles per hour. Suddenly, in turn 3, wind got under Yarborough's car, causing him to lose control and flip. He would be alright and did not go to the infield care center, but the Monte Carlo would not be repairable in time for the 500. Ranier-Lundy had not brought a backup car to Daytona, a normal practice for the time, and there would not be enough time to build a new car prior to the race. As a result, it was decided that Yarborough would use a Pontiac Le Mans that had been on display as a show car at a location for the team sponsor, restaurant chain Hardee's, in New Smyrna, Florida. By virtue of winning 2 pole positions in 1982, Yarborough was eligible for the Daytona Clash, an invitation-only exhibition race. For it, Yarborough drove the number 14 Monte Carlo for Gilmore Foyt Racing, in place of his original car, as the team's regular driver, A.J. Foyt, was not eligible for the event and would be an announcer for CBS's broadcast of it. The starting lineup was determined by a draw, and Yarborough would start 13th out of 16 drivers. Early in the clash, Yarborough remained in contact with the pack in his unfamiliar car, though was still towards the rear of the field. On the 5th lap, the race went under caution after Bobby Allison had a major crash in the 4th turn. Caution laps did not count towards the distance covered for the 20-lap race. Following the restart, after 7 laps, the top 7 created a gap between them and the rest of the field. Yarborough was at the rear of the second group, even after the lead group was broken up by Neil Bonnet and Bill Elliott making contact, almost causing a multi-car crash in the process, and Dale Earnhardt's car started smoking, causing him to be ordered to make a pit stop by NASCAR. Yarborough did not become a contender for the win. With 5 laps remaining, he was battling with Ricky Rudd and Tim Richmond for 7th place. On the final lap, Bonnet, Darrell Waltrip, and Terry Labonte were battling for the win. In turn 3, Waltrip and Labonte got together. Labonte lost control and collected Earnhardt, who got hit by Baker. Yarborough would avoid this crash and finish in 7th place. Yarborough would compete in the second qualifying race for the 500, which would determine the starting positions on the outside row, the even-numbered positions. Out of 36 drivers, Yarborough started 18th in his backup Le Mans. By the second lap, Yarborough was battling for 8th place, but dropped back when Mark Martin slowed in front of him. On the 4th lap, the race went under caution when Jerry Bowman and Alan J. West crashed on the back straightaway. By this point, Yarborough was running 7th. Following the restart, pole sitter Jeff Bodine was passed by Richard Petty and Bonnet. They and the rest of the top 5 would pull away from a second group of cars, which was led by Lake Speed. Yarborough was 4th in this grouping. By the 17th lap, he had gotten into 6th position, when the race had its second caution period due to Darrell Sage's crashing. During this time, Yarborough and most other drivers made pit stops. For the restart, Yarborough was second behind Tom Sneva, with Allison as a lap driver to the inside of Sneva. As the race restarted, Yarborough made a 3-wide pass on Sneva and Allison to get the lead. As Yarborough went through the second turn, he had built up a significant lead on the field. Going down the back straightaway, Allison got by Yarborough to get back onto the lead lap. Bonnet drafted with Allison and got the lead. The following lap, Bonnet got past Allison, but Yarborough remained in a close second to him. The two leaders and Allison would form a close draft as the race got to its halfway point. Bodine then challenged Yarborough for second. Afterwards, Yarborough settled back behind Bonnet. On lap 27, Rusty Wallace had a bad crash on the back straightaway, and Slick Johnson and Pond had their own crash in reaction to this. Yarborough attempted to get past Bonnet as the field raced to complete the lap before the caution period started. The race was restarted on lap 34. Bonnet, Yarborough, Bodine, and Dick Brooks would move away from the field. As they went through turn 3, Bonnet increased the gap between him and Yarborough. The following lap, Yarborough got back to being directly behind Bonnet, but was unable to get past him. If none of the drivers immediately behind Yarborough tried to form their own pack with him, he would be at a disadvantage to the drivers in the draft and likely drop back. Brooks tried this type of move and got next to Yarborough, but quickly dropped back. As Brooks fell behind, Richard Petty got past Bodine for third and was challenging Yarborough. Petty, while drafting with Bodine, would get past both Yarborough and Bonnet. The top three of Petty, Bonnet, and Yarborough would get spread out. Ronnie Sanders then spun and got his car stuck in the grass. As the race went under caution, Yarborough was still in third position. With 7 laps remaining, Yarborough struggled to get past Allison and reached the top 2. As lap 46 started, Yarborough tried to get past Allison, but did not do so. Then, going down the back straightaway, Yarborough got past Allison and was next to Bonnet, but could not complete the pass and went behind Allison again. Yarborough finally got past Allison with just under 3 laps left in the race. The top 3 were very close as lap 49 started. Yarborough went to the outside of Bonnet but went behind him instead. Yarborough then went to the inside of Bonnet on the back straightaway, but again did not get past him. On the final lap, the top 3 got back to being close to each other. Going down the back straightaway, Bonnet, with Yarborough drafting behind him, got past Petty. As Bonnet won the race, Petty narrowly held off Yarborough for second place. Yarborough's finish would result in him starting 8th for the 500. Unfortunately, the qualifying races were marred by Bruce Jacoby violently flipping in the first race. Tragically, Jacoby went into a coma in the aftermath of the crash and would die in this state in 1987. In an example of NASCAR's general age gap of the time frame, 43-year-old Yarborough, who debuted in the Cup Series in 1957, would share the 4th row with 22-year-old Kyle Petty, who debuted in the series in 1979. Yarborough's car would have an onboard camera for the CBS Sports broadcast. At the start, as some drivers moved high or low, Yarborough remained in the original outside line. He then moved into 6th place after moving lower on the track. However, being the only driver for quite a distance on the inside line, Yarborough began to drop back as the second lap started. After the field settled into a line, Yarborough was running 9th. He then tried to get past Baker. Soon afterwards, Yarborough attempted to make the same move and got past Baker. He was now next to Brooks before getting between him and Baker. As Kyle Petty was leading from his 4th row starting position, Yarborough was running 6th. The front of the field was now a single line and Yarborough continued to run 6th, but then got past Bonnet for 5th. After 15 laps, Yarborough was now up to 4th position and was quick to challenge Joe Ruttman for 3rd. However, Yarborough then dropped back from the lead pack and was second in a second group, as he ran in 8th place. He then got the lead in the group. Yarborough would then start to gain on the lead pack. Very quickly, he was at the rear of it. As this was happening, Yarborough and other leaders were getting past lapped drivers. Yarborough was now 6th, directly behind Bonnet. After Yarborough moved a bit backwards, Earnhardt was now right behind him and would eventually move next to Yarborough. 33 laps into the 500, Yarborough remained in 5th place. Around this time, the leaders started to make pit stops. Yarborough would pit at the same time as Brooks. Moments after Yarborough's pit stop, Bosco Lowe crashed in the general area of the pit lane where Yarborough's stall was at. Back on the track, Yarborough was lapping Waltrip. On the 48th lap, leader Richard Petty, who had led for 29 of the first 47 laps, slowed with an engine issue and retired from the race. This would put Brooks into the lead. Then, on lap 53, the race had its first caution period after Phil Parsons spun. During this time, Yarborough and other drivers made pit stops. During the caution period, Yarborough was in 3rd position, behind Bill Elliott and Joe Ruttman. Following the race start, Yarborough remained in a close 3rd. The following lap, as Ruttman got the lead, Yarborough drafted with him to try to get the lead himself. Unfortunately for him, he dropped back to 5th. Yarborough would draft with Earnhardt and moved up to 4th. Yarborough would move to the inside. behind Earnhardt, who got the lead, and Brooks. In the process, Yarborough got into third place. Earnhardt quickly fell from the lead, behind Brooks, Yarborough, and Ruttman. Going down the back straightaway on lap 63, Yarborough got past Brooks and led his first lap of the 1983 500. Moments later, Earnhardt's engine failed and the field would race back to the timing line to start a new caution period. Brooks got a big lead as Yarborough was likely driving cautiously due to potential debris on the track from Earnhardt's issue. In turn 4, Waltrip, who was trying to get back onto the lead lap, lost control and crashed. As his car moved back across the track, it barely missed Yarborough. Following Waltrip's crash, 8 of the 500's 42 starters had retired from the event. About half of a lap after the lap 77 restart, Yarborough got past Ruttman for the lead. Brooks, Allison, and Bodine closely pursued Yarborough. Brooks would get support from a big pack to get past Yarborough, who lost momentum and was in 6th place by the following lap. He tried to get past Bonnet, but was unsuccessful there. As Bodine led, Yarborough was still in the lead pack in 6th. He then got up to 5th and was challenging Brooks for 4th. However, Yarborough was unable to get past Brooks. He would try to get past Brooks again, but the outcome was the same. On lap 99, another contender, Kyle Petty, retired as he had an engine failure. At the halfway point of the 500, Bonnet led and Yarborough was 5th. As Baker and Brooks battled for 2nd, Yarborough gained on them. Eventually, the top 5 of Bonnet, Baker, Brooks, Yarborough, and Ruttman got a big lead on the rest of the field. Baker would then move down the track to make a pit stop, moving Yarborough into 3rd. After Delma Cowart crashed, Yarborough and the other leaders made pit stops during the caution period. Yarborough was slow to exit his pit stop and had crew members push him, even on the pit lane itself. However, he was 3rd of the leaders to get out. After leading 14 laps, 2nd place starter Bodine retired with 106 laps completed. He was another driver who had an engine problem. With 113 laps completed, Yarborough was running 4th. After the race restarted, lap driver Pond got ahead of Yarborough on the top lane. He then got past Pond and quickly got right behind Bonnet. Yarborough would draft behind Bonnet and the two moved into 3rd and 4th place, respectively. The two then worked together with Brooks to get past Ruttman. Suddenly, Bonnet slowed down with a mechanical issue. He would continue. Right after Bonnet had his issue, Yarborough would get past Brooks for the lead. Ruttman was a close 2nd. The top 2 built up a significant lead as Brooks dropped back. Eventually, Allison and Baker moved into 2nd and 3rd place. Soon afterwards, they got past Yarborough, who dropped to 3rd. Going down the back straightaway, Yarborough signaled to Ruttman to draft with him. They got past Baker and Yarborough challenged Allison for 2nd, before settling behind Allison in 2nd. Yarborough and Ruttman would make a 2nd attempt to get past Allison. This time they succeeded. Once again, Yarborough and Ruttman had a large gap between them and the 3rd place driver, this time Allison. After Ruttman got the lead, lap driver Bonnet attempted to get past Yarborough. Due to Martin crashing in turn 4, the race had a caution period with Yarborough still in 2nd position. During this time, Yarborough and the other leaders made pit stops. After 139 laps, Yarborough was in 4th. Following the restart, Yarborough dropped back from the lead pack. However, he quickly caught up to the group and then challenged Allison for 2nd. On lap 144, there was a multi-car crash in turn 1 and Yarborough was in 2nd when the field raced to the start of the caution period. Meanwhile, Bonnet got back his lap that he had lost when he had his mechanical issue. Following a pit stop, Yarborough was in 5th place when the race was restarted. He would be in the 2nd pack afterwards. Yarborough would struggle to get past lap driver Ricky Rudd, as Bonnet got past him. Bonnet and Yarborough then drafted past Rudd, Allison, and Brooks. Yarborough got past Bonnet and drafted with Ruttman. Yarborough battled with Ron Bouchard for 3rd. As Ruttman led, Yarborough was in a 3-wide battle for 3rd with Bouchard and Bonnet. Afterwards, Yarborough was 5th behind Brooks. Yarborough got past Brooks and gained on the top 3. He then moved into 3rd by getting past Bonnet, who had another mechanical issue. Yarborough was now directly behind Ruttman and Baker. As Bouchard retired with an engine failure, Yarborough pitted during the ensuing caution period for Bouchard's issue. As the race restarted, Yarborough went much slower than the leaders and dropped back. With 29 laps remaining, Yarborough was in 5th and had caught up to the top 4. He was soon running 2nd to Baker. After 177 laps, Yarborough was still in a close 2nd to Baker. Yarborough went to Baker's inside but did not get past him. Once again, Yarborough went to the inside of Baker, with Allison directly behind him this time, but Baker maintained the lead. Then Allison and Ruttman got past Baker and Yarborough to get Ruttman the lead. Allison was a lap down. However, Baker and Yarborough drafted together and got into the top 2. After Allison went to the inside of Baker, Yarborough drafted with Allison and got the lead. Shortly later, Yarborough passed Allison. After this move, Ruttman was directly behind Yarborough. Baker would get past both of them and get back into the lead. With 7 laps remaining, Yarborough still remained close to Baker. As the final lap started, Baker had a narrow lead over Yarborough, Ruttman, and Elliott. On the back straightaway, Yarborough got past Baker, with Ruttman close behind. Ruttman would not make a challenge to Yarborough, though, as he battled with Baker and Elliott for second. Yarborough would win his 3rd Daytona 500 after leading for 23 laps. The combination of Yarborough and Ranier-Lundy would be very strong in the Cup Series. They won an additional 3 races in 1983 out of 16 entries, and 5 more races over the next 2 years, including the 1984 500. The first win they got together would come with a car that had been a show car at a Hardee's restaurant. Search over 5 million listings to find the right car for you at CarGurus.com. A special Car Gurus link from me, Ryan Holman, is in the description and as the pinned comment for this video.